my name is Samantha Katchen. I'm Vice President here at Key Retirement Solutions, and I wanted to share with you today a story about one of my most impactful client situations so you can get a little bit of insight on why we do what we do and the difference we can make in people's lives. So when I was first in the business, I would say I was less than about a year in, so this was about 5 years ago. I met with a woman who's a widow, lived by herself, and had her daughter and her son who lived nearby, and her 3 grandkids that were very important to her. But aside from that, she really didn't have anyone to help her with things, especially her insurance. She had retired a couple years back and had gotten whatever insurance the people at her former employer had recommended, and no one had helped review it with her since. She had a long list of medications she was on, she was paying a lot in co-pays. Her monthly supplemental insurance had gotten so much in price, it was hard for her to budget in and pay the bills with how high the premium kept increasing too. Luckily, she had scheduled an appointment with me and allowed me to come into her home, and I helped really dive deep into her situation and figure out how we could help bring some of these costs down. Long story short, I was able to save her over $3,000 a year on her supplemental insurance and put her on what's called a Medicare Advantage program. Now for her, the Medicare Advantage program made sense. Doesn't always make sense for everyone, but for her, in her specific area that she lived in, her Medicare Advantage plan had a maximum out-of-pocket of $2,600 for the year. What that means is worst case scenario, the most she could ever get billed is $2,600. After that, everything's covered at 100%. Her supplemental insurance plan was costing her $3,000 a year, so therefore she was money ahead no matter what. On top of that, we were able to get her much better co-pays and co-insurances on her prescriptions that she was taking. She was taking a long list of medications, including insulins that were getting very expensive on her old plan, whereas this Medicare Advantage program that I had put her on was customized an insulin-specific program that saved her a lot of money on her insulin and her medications, which added up to another maybe $1,500 to $2,000 for the year. So we were able to save a lot and put her in a lot better situation on her health insurance, which I did on that first visit when I met with her. Then I went back to see her again just to make sure she got her cards and she understood everything and she didn't have any more questions. And in conversation, we started talking about life insurance and final expense. It was really important for her to make sure her daughter and her son did not have to come up with any money out of pocket to pay for her final expenses. But on top of that, her 3 granddaughters mean the world to her. And she wanted to make sure that she could leave a little money to each of them too, so that whenever she passed, she was able to leave them with something to carry on her legacy to them. So, reviewing her current life insurance policies, I was able to actually save her money there too. She had had some policies for a really long time, and nobody from the company had contacted her to let her know that the policies were paid up. She didn't need to keep paying the premiums in anymore, and the insurance was guaranteed to last forever, even if she stopped premium payments. So I was able to help her get those premiums reduced on those current policies that she had, as well as update the beneficiary. This is something that's really important and that, again, nobody had ever helped her do before. Her beneficiaries were outdated, and it was her husband that had since passed away that was listed as the beneficiary on all her current policies. So I helped make sure those were up to date and that they were changed to the according people that she needed it to be. Then we were able to take some of that money that we saved from her health insurance, some of that money we saved from making the policies be paid up, and we were able to put another policy into place to leave money to each of her 3 grandkids. She was ecstatic. This meant the world to her. And again, at the end of the day, after doing everything, we still saved her money, but she was much better protected and had much better insurance all around for her situation. I have many stories like this throughout the years in the business of people that I've been able to help just like this situation. But why this was so impactful for me was because this was my first year in the business. So I was still new to learning how much we could help people and seeing firsthand really the difference we can make. And I remember to this day, I was with my sister actually out for New Year's Eve, and I received a text message from this client at about 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, right before the new year. And she had texted me and she said, "Hi Samantha, I wanted to wish you a happy new year and just let you know that going into this new year, I have the most peace of mind I've ever had before." She said, "Thank you so much for all your help in setting up my health and life insurance. I really have so much peace of mind, and I have you to thank for it. Thank you and Happy New Year. And she had sent some emojis with it too. But I just remember like being in awe and screenshotting that and sending it to my team at the time and being like, wow, this really is why we do what we do. To this day, this is one of my clients. Flash forward 5 years, I still meet with her once a year, every year, to check up on her programs and make sure everything's okay and that she's still receiving that service that I had promised her 5 years ago. So that's a little story on why we do what we do, and that's just, like I said, one of the many examples of people we can help and how we can make a difference in their lives.